The Scarrus koi or green blotched parrotfish is a fish you might see quite regularly in your local fish shop, but there isn't an awful lot of information about it online. So today I'm going to tell you my experience with this characterful fish. Now it's important to say at the start that this isn't intended as a definitive guide, just an overview of how I personally got on. And if this is your first time here and you want a weekly dose of reefing goodness, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out when I upload. Now because these guys are usually already quite big when they come to the shops, and because they can grow to almost a foot long, you are likely to need a good sized tank. I convinced myself that a 4 foot by 2 foot tank would be big enough, but mine was a really active fish and he was really chunky as well, so I think this is one fish you shouldn't try to squeeze into a smaller tank than is recommended. And I'd say a 6 foot long tank is probably the smallest I'd go for, and ideally bigger. As for diet, mine happily ate frozen mysis shrimp as well as pellet food. Now they do need a lot of algae in their diet, but I didn't get to test what types of algae my one ate. And why is that, you might ask? Well, this feels like a good time to address whether or not the Scarrus koi is reef safe. Mine left all of my shrimps and snails well alone and didn't touch any of my soft or LPS corals. But as you probably gathered from the thumbnail, he absolutely mullered my SPS corals. In the wild, parrotfish use their beak to grind rocks and corals into sand, and while I read many articles saying this particular parrotfish is actually reef safe, that was very much not my personal experience. Within days of going in my tank, he started chomping through my aquapora. And I'm not just speculating that it might have been him, I actually caught the bastard in the act on several occasions. He was extremely brazen and had no intention of hiding his tastes, and munched through some of my favourite acros right in front of me, including a 1-inch frag I'd paid £150 for, which to be fair will teach me to spend stupid money on tiny frags. And the only reason I don't have more footage of him eating corals is because he was going for it at such a pace that I felt the need to take immediate action to remove him. So I added a fish trap as soon as I could, caught him and returned him to my local fish shop. In my experience then, they are a very real risk with SPS corals in particular, and while I am usually all for trying your luck with a reef safe with caution fish in the hope that they might be okay, this is a really good example of how quickly things can go south. Fortunately, I caught him within a day of him eating his first coral, but if he'd evaded capture for a week or two, as fish can do, I fear my tank would have looked like a bomb had gone off. And my impressions of the Scarrus koi is that they can do a lot of damage in a small space of time. One common trick for keeping potential coral munchers away from your corals is to feed heavily so they don't get hungry and go looking for alternative food sources. But I don't think that would have helped here. He didn't look in the least bit thin, and he ate well while he was in my tank. With all of that being said, it's worth noting I only had this guy in my tank for 6 days, so I have a very low level of experience with this fish. But I felt it was worth making this video to show you what they're capable of if you get a rogue specimen. And these types of videos usually attract people who have the fish themselves, so check out the comment section below to see how others have got on. And if you're a regular viewer of my channel and you're wondering why you haven't seen this guy in my tank, it's because I sold him almost 18 months ago. I've been meaning to make this video ever since, but I figured it might be a niche video, so I've been putting it off up until now. If you found the video useful then please give it a like and make sure you subscribe for more reefing goodness.